Hello, everybody. Well, here we are again on the four corners of suburbia to ask unsuspecting passers-by a question or two.
Billy Graham has started a campaign in England against what he has described as the worship of the bosom. Well, it seems to be true this day and age that wherever one looks, in shop windows or in the films, on television, that the heroine certainly seems to be a fairly buxom type, and that this is often the subject for man's attention. Well, what do the people in the street in Bondi Junction, Sydney, think about the so-called cult and worship of the bosom? We'll find out.
I think the evangelist Billy Graham is right that there is too much emphasis on the talking about the bosoms of people, and that he is doing a good thing for the general morals of the public.
Well, I think that it should be played down a bit. I think that there's too much fuss being made about it, and if it was ignored completely, it would die out.
No, I mean, the bosom's a pretty malleable thing, and, you know, stretches either way. But, no, I think a bosom is an interesting sort of a sculpture. It's beautiful, it has form. It's certainly the most beautiful part of a woman's body. I'd like to see more.
Oh, I can't answer that question. It's no good to me. I don't understand it.
Well, I think it's a modern world today, and I don't see any harm in anything at the present moment, but what a woman wants to do, she wants to do, doesn't she?
Oh, I don't know. I never look at it. You must ask the man about it.
He's out of place for the time being. He's a little bit premature. He's not looking into the future sufficiently.
Certainly there is too much emphasis on it, and I think it's leading to modesty a lot. I think a woman's greatest asset is her character.
If you've got it, well, you've got it, haven't you?
Yes, really, I don't like it at all.
Well, you're talking about it this morning, they're all bosoms now, aren't they? They all seem to be going for it.
Yes, I do. I think they, they throw too much emphasis on it altogether, really.
So you wouldn't go along. You wouldn't go along with the topless dress, for example.
No, I don't think I could wear one either, really.
I think it's better to be natural than to be artificial.
You don't mind the topless dress, then?
I do. I think the topless, it's all right up to modernation, but not too much. They're doing it, overdoing it this time.
Well, it's hard to say. But I don't think anyone looks nice completely bare.
But it's been on for many, many thousands of years, I think. Well, before it has, anyhow, with the Egyptians and so on. I think that it's something that we just get used to.
Well, I think they can do what they want. I mean, most men I don't think mind, and most women I don't think mind. The ones that are well endowed, well, if they want to show more of it off, that's up to them.
Would you yourself take out a girl in a topless dress?
Sure. Yeah, I wouldn't hesitate.
If she was the only girl in the whole party, for example?
Well, you don't have to conform. Yes, that would be all right.
Do you feel a little outraged that the bosom is used so blatantly to sell newspapers and television programs?
Oh, yes, I think that's all wrong. You get these naked women or girls on the front page of the newspaper just to sell the newspaper, and the people aren't interested in anything about the news.
Well, I don't know about too much emphasis. A man likes a nice bosom. Don't you think so?
I don't know. I just don't go for it.
Well, why do you say there's not enough of it? What do you want to see?
Everything.
The topless dress, the lot?
Yeah. What's wrong with it?
Yes, I would say if it was accepted by all.
Would you go out with a girl who was wearing a topless dress?
Not if she was the only girl with a topless dress. If there was a lot of girls with topless dresses, I wouldn't worry about it.
Would you take a girl out wearing a topless dress?
If I had the money, yeah.
Disgraceful.
I think the worst thing you can see, especially here, are these girls going about in these tight pants and one thing and another. I think that's worse than bosoms.
Have you been married long?
Yes, a good many years.
How many years? Do you remember?
You, me? Oh, I'm a widow. My wife's dead. Lost her 10 years ago, 11 years ago.
Well, now, one thing, you have a theory about the moon, and we expect to be able to get observable facts about the moon fairly soon. What is your theory?
Well, it is by now rather more than a theory. 10 or 11 years ago, I stated to various scientists that the moon is not a piece of rock, but it is a plasma phenomena, cosmic plasma, and that this fact will eventually be confirmed. I made certain predictions which were already confirmed in 1958, and the situation now is coming close to a complete confirmation.
What will be the result if you're proved to be correct in your theories?
The result will be profound and decisive, because it will give proof that a complete reinvestigation of the laws of nature is necessary. Because if the moon is a plasma, no man will ever land on it.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
The soft landing attempts will all fail. That means that the mass of the moon is less, far less than is currently assumed. It's in a different state of energy, and it has far less mass. That means there is no more explanation for the tides. If the moon, for example, had only 1,000th part of its current mass, then the tides would only be 2 inches high under conventional theories instead of sometimes 14 feet. And that means that if it is proved that the moon is a plasma, then all gravitational theories are out, and a new concept of the cosmos and of its laws has to be evolved.
Aren't you being a bit adventurous, though, because you know that we're going to be able to test out your theories on the moon fairly soon?
Well, not anymore. 11 years ago, of course, it was rather taking a risk. I was considered a lunatic, of course, but by now the evidence, accumulated evidence, is already so much in my favor that I'm not taking any risks anymore. On the contrary, there is scientific views expressed all over the world now that the moon seems to be of a quite different nature of what was assumed.
But the Americans and Russians are thinking of landing men on it.
Well, that will never happen. Not on the moon. On Mars, on Venus, on other planets, yes, but the moon is definitely, as I assert, a plasma.
Getting a little dust. Good, 60 feet. Going down about 2. Very little dust. Very little dust. 40 feet, going down at 3. Stand by for touchdown. Stand by. 25 feet, down at 2. Feels good. 20 feet. Going down at 2. 10 feet. 10 feet. Contact. Stop, push. Engine stop. Engine arm. Proceed. Command override off. Boat control ahead. Hold. Pings auto. Okay, Houston, the Challenger has landed.
Flight EVA. Go ahead. Okay, we have verified that the trainer does have a decal on the lean. We are checking for the direct correlation to the rosé.
Uh-oh. There it went. What happened? Oh, I lost my vice. I see it. I see it. I took number 1 in the right direction. And as we leave the moon in Taurus Littoral, we leave as we came, and God willing, as we shall return, with peace and in hope for all mankind.
Do you think that other people from other countries should be allowed to live in Australia?
Yes, at school we're taught that it promotes economic growth and that it's good for the country, it provides employment, and I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think they should, but I don't think they should overdo it, you know, by letting a whole lot of migrants come over and live here. I mean...
Oh, well, it really depends on whether, I mean, like, I get annoyed when you see them coming around and taking all our jobs over and, like, other nationalities driving around in Mercedes and everything. I mean, it's fair enough, but if they're going to take over the whole of Australia, it's so annoying.
Yes, I do, because then we get to know other people and what their food's like and their traditions and things like that.
Yes, I do actually. I think if the countries they're coming from, say Vietnam or Cambodia or other places, Singapore, I don't know which places, are under threat or they're refugees, thousands of refugees going over to Thailand from Cambodia, I think that they should be able to leave and try and find a better life.
I don't really think so, because there are too many people from other countries, and soon one country from another country will probably invade us, and they're having too many babies.
Warrnambool's Grand Hotel, one of 14 in this town of 19,000. And of that 19,000, 150 are black. And that would appear to be the one thing you shouldn't be if you want to get a drink here at the Grand, a hotel which doesn't appear to be living up to its name.
Whereabouts do you come from?
Oh, I come from Laguna Beach, California.
What do you think of Australia?
Oh, well, I'm very much surprised at the size of the city.
Yes.
I didn't realize it was anywhere near that size.
You've had this opportunity to meet the people and see the
Oh,
people?
yes, I like the people very much. Any questions we asked were just answered so very politely in every way.
How about criticism?
Well, I don't have any criticism except the weather disappointed us a little bit. But no, I don't have any criticism to make.
Well, now I'm across the Tasman in Wellington, New Zealand, to look at the other side of the picture. Pretty cold morning over here, wearing my Australian wool. Of course, the obvious question is, when I mention Australia, what's the first thing you think of? Excuse me, when I mention Australia, what's the first thing you think of?
Australia? That I'd like to go there, I think.
Why? Isn't this a lovely place?
Oh, very nice. I'm very happy here.
Why do you want to go to Australia?
Oh, just to have a trip, that's all.
Know anything about it?
Oh, not very much.
When I mention Australia, what's the first thing you think of?
Kangaroos.
Why kangaroos?
Because they hop.
Any peculiarities, perhaps, about the place?
Yes, the people.
Oh, their peculiarities?
Yes, I think they're not peculiar people at all, but...
They're peculiar to Australia?
Peculiar to Australia.
Do you know much about Australia?
No.
Nothing?
Nope.
Not at all? No. When I mention Australia, what's the first thing you think of?
Kangaroos. Aussies.
Yes, I know. Anything else?
Not really. Oh, koala bears, I suppose. Yes, what's all this made of?
When I mention Australia, what's the first thing you think of?
Oh, I'd hate to tell you.
Why would you hate to tell me?
We better not ask me. I've just got some neighbours who come from Australia.
Oh, what are they like? When I mention Australia, what's the first thing you think of?
Kangaroos.
How about you, when I mention Australia? What do you think of, first of all?
Oh, kookaburras.
Australia, I mean. How do you think it might compare with, say, Wellington?
Oh, well, I think it's quite a nice country.
You've been there?
No, but I've read and heard about it. There's a lot of sharks, though. Don't like it. Don't like the shark.
What do you think of when I mention Australia?
Australians.
Oh, anything else in particular?
No, I can't say I do. Perhaps kangaroos and koala bears.
This is a sick baby production.
2021. Oh.
Don't worry, he survives.